Hey everybody, Aileen Jackman here, Child Development Specialist at Suzuki, and I'm sharing in our Lunch and Learn today a little bit about special time and taking the opportunity to take a deeper look at what special time is all about and some of the different nuances that make it such a valuable tool to parents. I never knew this would be probably the most frequently recommended information and handout that I give parents and advice to them to do at home. So I want to give credit to Hand in Hand Parenting, which is a wonderful resource for parents. I've also shared some additional resources that talk about special time as well, like Dr. Laura Markham and her AHA parenting resource. So the number one reason why I recommend special time is because it builds a closer connection with your child. Young children require a lot of attention. So one might ask, what's so special about special time? But taking the time to relax and play and connect with your child in a way that's completely unencumbered, that's designated just for them, where you're completely focused on your child and everything in the background is set aside, can really build connection and enhance the warmth and closeness that as parents we so desire with our children. So it's really a simple but really powerful tool for building and strengthening your relationship with your child. And we talk a lot about how special time is really great for children, of course, but it's also equally good for parents. All of us at one time or another have feel guilty around our the amount of time we're able to spend with our children that's not just around daily caregiving or getting them to and from places, or sometimes feeling inadequate as a parent. Parenting is a really hard job, and playing with your child is really one thing that you can do that gives you definitely a sense of pride as a parent, and you feel successful in meeting this deep emotional need for your child. And you get to experience the joy in playing with your child as well. And this mirrors to your child the need that we all have for belonging and feeling close and connected to another person. It also helps kind of reconnect you to your child at the end of the day when you've been separated. And one of the sort of great byproducts can be that your child is much more cooperative and definitely happier because they've been really filled up emotionally. And I love this quote, special time is priceless because it symbolizes the parent's unconditional love for the child. Special time is also an active form of listening. And it's also a vehicle for telling, for your child to tell you about their life, their feelings, and their perceptions of the world around them. It's really a window for you in what is going on in their world, what little things that are stressful for them that might seem little to us as adults, so we don't notice, or we're not privy to hearing that. But when children have that time with you through play, they oftentimes feel much more freed up and safe and secure to share those little stresses and worries. So you want to focus your entire attention on your child and really start to notice things that maybe you haven't noticed before. Like notice, their expression on their face as well as their words and what they're saying. Notice their tone of voice, their posture, their movement. And this will really, allow your child to work through some of those, emotions and stresses from the day. Or they may bring up, topics that of little things that, have been kind of on their mind. So these are just kind of some of the guidelines. You want to set aside a short amount of time without any interruptions. And it's more important to be consistent than it is to schedule a long period of time. You can do this for 5 to 10 minutes if you only have 5 to 10 minutes. And sometimes you may have time to go much longer, and that's great. Or you get deeply into the play and it gets really extended and you're both enjoying it, and that's fine. But if you feel like that you're not going to have a lot of time, you might want to use a visual timer so it really lets your child, know how much time is left. But it's still very valuable to do. And you want to try to choose a time that you can drop everything else and be totally in the moment, that you can put any type of technology away, background television, anything like that, that another child is busy or occupied doing something on their own. And you want to put your child in charge of his relationship with you. They get to choose the play and you are following their lead. This is definitely a reverse of power, which will encourage your child to share their feelings. Oftentimes parents think that if they're not always in charge, that their child will somehow lose respect for them or not follow what they're asking them. But this is the one situation where you can let your child completely lead the play within reason, that it's something okay with you to do and that it's safe. So you want to just let your affection and your total interest in their play, and you want your approval of them and to show on your face and your voice and through your touch. Your child, they might seem really engrossed in the play. They may not seem to notice. They might appear to be ignoring you, but don't stop, because they will absorb all of this interest and affection and approval that you're providing them. And they will respond in their own way, in their own time. And kind of lead with this excitement and expectation that new things are going to unfold in this play. Your interest in your tone of expectation will help your child come up with their own ideas, and you want to expand their play and their imagination and their creative expression. You want to show your support, and that helps that unfold. Or just by narrating what their play is, it might help them come up with another idea and expand on that. And that is wonderful for their development as well. Their language development, expanding their focus and attention, and their ability to problem solve and coming up with their own ideas. And again, just their total ability to be completely in charge of the play. So we, as adults, we definitely want to resist the temptation to direct the play with our own ideas or try to teach our child something new. We only want to modify the play if there's some type of safety issue where you absolutely need to intervene for some reason. And special time really builds the trust between you and your child when it's done on a regular basis. And you definitely want to schedule this separately for each of the children in your family. This is definitely a joint activity where the child chooses within activities that are completely acceptable to you. Something that the two of you are doing together, that there's no right or wrong answer, that you're not teaching them something. So ideas might be any type of dramatic play props, building materials that they like, coloring, reading books together, any type of pretend play themes, going on a nature walk, maybe putting together an obstacle course, and they choose what they're using to put together in the obstacle course or how it will go. Flying a kite together, or some fun sensory play like water play or mud play or making Play-Doh or a snack, but really just getting on the floor and having that good fun pretend play is a great way to go. So you'll begin to see more of how your child sees themselves and their ideas and their feelings, and you'll definitely, start to see your child kind of explore new ideas and maybe things that you didn't realize, they were thinking about. And as this trust builds between the two of you, there are some behaviors that you kind of want to be on the lookout for, and you want to expect these behaviors. You might see some of these, not necessarily in this order, but these are an indication that your child is feeling really safe with you. And so this is actually a good sign and something to expect. So you might see your child try to test you a little bit more. They might choose something kind of boring to you, or maybe a little irritating that you wouldn't necessarily enjoy, but they're just kind of testing you. So the idea would be for you just to try to go along, no matter what, and when you can, be as enthusiastic about their choice as possible, and then trust that, over time, your trust will increase rapidly with your enthusiasm, and that will kind of be over, and you'll continue on your way with some more exploratory play. But they may explore new activities or some new sort of testing the boundaries a little bit. They might be running and jumping in those mud puddles, or usually you don't let them jump on the bed, but they ask if you can for just for special time, or maybe things that you don't normally do, like water play or mud play in the backyard. So use your permission in this way to do some kind of intensive whole body learning. So maybe some creative, fun things that are a little bit more messy and out of the bounds. Like maybe you let them have the whole can of shaving cream in the bathtub or on a tray in the kitchen. And your child might start to show you issues that are important to them. They might act out some stresses in their life, like a recent visit to the doctor's office, or they might pretend to be the teacher, or they might act out a conflict with a peer, or sometime when they got their feelings hurt. They might bring up a wide variety of issues. Some common themes can be around fear and separation or other topics. So this is a great opportunity for them to work out these tensions through play. So don't feel any need to make them feel better or try to fix it or come up with solutions. Just let them really play and maybe mirror back their feelings, like showing empathy for what they went through. But that can help them really work through and maybe come up with some of their own solutions for next time, or just working through those normal tensions and feelings, so they kind of process that and feel better themselves through their own work. They also might show increasing attachment to you or have trouble ending the play. And that's where the visual timer could come in handy. They might bring up old difficulties that you thought your child had resolved, and they may reappear, which is not uncommon as well. And they just might need to repeat these play themes over and over until they feel that they've successfully mastered them. So don't think of that in any sort of negative way, or that they're really stuck or really holding on to something in a negative way. Play is really a great way for children to work through feelings. So it's important that you're giving your child this powerful role in the play. When you're the smaller, weaker, less competent person in this play dynamic, your child will feel much more confident and they'll feel safer and safe enough to share their thoughts and feelings around important issues. So you can, play that sort of, smaller, weaker person. Like, I can't fit in the tunnel, so what should I do? Or I can't get out of the balls. Can you help me, please? I can't open this. Can you show me how to do it? I don't know how to solve this problem. What do you think we could do? So you are the listener and you're looking for opportunities to help your child resolve either tensions and feelings around an issue through laughter as you play, or you're kind of looking to kind of play dumb and let them, problem solve and figure out things on their own. But this play reversal provides, some opportunities where your child, for example, they want to give you the shot, like if you're at the doctor's office. So you play along as you're the child squirming to get away or squealing, no, no shot. And your child can laugh and be silly with this and then master their feelings around something that is, definitely uncomfortable, but necessary and something that they obviously don't have control over. So that laughter and play can really help dissolve the tension. And you want to notice the things that do make your child laugh and definitely do more of that. Keep the fun coming. A good play listener will act helpless enough to be non-threatening, but active enough to be interesting. Of course, you want to pace yourself to your child. You know your child best. And when your children are small, they need adults to play a very helpless role to make them laugh. And as they get older and they kind of grow in their confidence and their self-assurance and their strength, they need more of a challenge and resistance to get them laughing and being silly and having fun. So, for example, if your child wants to play monster, you might play that sort of befuddled, incompetent, silly monster, versus definitely being big and scary. And you might be kind of unsuccessful in your lumbering and walking, or you might fall down. And if your child's a little bit older, then they might enjoy being successfully tackled, or, more of a chase game. But, of course, they always get away in the end. And if you ever feel like your play does go a little too far, or your child shows any sort of fear around the play, not to worry, just slow down the play and appear more helpless, and your child will resume that safe feeling of safety, and they'll resume feeling in charge. And then just a note, be careful about tickling. Some people recommend not tickling at all. It can often end up to be too much and can kind of spoil what you're trying to achieve. And it takes them out of being in charge. It's like something happening to them. So something to think about. And we also, of course, want to, think about as, some of these things come up in play. Of course, there's lots of laughter and closeness, and sometimes these deep feelings can bubble up to the surface, and your child may even end up crying or having a tantrum, and you kind of think, we just did something really good here, and why did this end this way? But that's okay too, and that's not necessarily going to happen every time, but if it does, that you just want to reassure your child, just know that they're letting you know that they have some more painful feelings that they carry around with them, and they're safe to unload them. And children show their deep feelings very easily anyway. And a child's fear and grief are kind of this unwanted baggage. And if they can fully unload it with a safe person, like their parent who loves them, then they easily come around when they've worked through that to be kind of free to be their loving, confident self again. So just stay close and say as few words as possible, gently pat or touch them. Use phrases like, tell me more, I love you, I'm sorry that happened. If you say too much, then it puts you in the position of dominating the interaction. So you want them to feel deeply cared for, but able to release and relax. So you wanted to, resist the urge to try and get them to kind of get their composure back together quickly, or try to distract them, or try to get them, to kind of get their polite behavior back in order, or demand them to pull themselves together. You just want to be present. And, sometimes, the patting or just saying a few words is helpful. Sometimes saying nothing is helpful. Sometimes someone just sitting you and being present will make them feel safe and cared for, and they'll eventually just release that emotion and relax, and they'll bring themselves back together independently all by themselves, which will give them more confidence to deal with these emotions going forward. So this could be very uncomfortable in the beginning, so I want you to be prepared for that, but it's so very beneficial for your child's development. And, honestly, most of us did not receive this kind of care or listening from our parents, that, we are learning to give our own children, because everybody does what they know until they know something different. And now that we know this is so beneficial for children, I can't recommend this enough to every single parent, to give your child the gift of playing with them. Because every time we listen well through the tears, every time a special time is full of exploration or laughter, they'll show us that we're strengthening the bonds of love and trust we want to build with them. So I hope you've learned a little bit more about special time, and I hope you enjoy this time with your child or each of your children. Thanks, take care, and I'll see you at the next Lunch and Learn.